Welcome to Things You Don't Know. We're going to talk about another product you're very familiar with and my particular variation on it. Throughout our lives, there are sounds that carry memory. Bell of a church or a synagogue, a school hallway at dismissal, the crack of a baseball bat. And if you grew up right, the crackle of a gum wrapper in study hall or some other time when you just weren't supposed to have gum. Before we get all academic and explore the history of various gums and resins, let me say this plainly. I loved it as a young child and teenager till I got braces and had to get rid of it. But above all, I love one particular kind that we're going to get into in a few minutes. It was not respected, it was not dignified, but it was joyful. And now I'm so sorry to say, friends, sadly, it's gone.
Well, Dr. Deneen, first, before we go any further, I have a confession to make. I had braces when I was younger, and I still chewed the stuff anyway. They weren't going to hold me back. And I actually had no problems out of my braces whatsoever, even when I was doing that. But talking about Fruit Stripe, you sound like you're delivering some kind of eulogy, Dr. Deneen.
I am, in a way, to childhood, to the past, to a nice little zebra logo and what it represented.
And that, listeners, is why gum matters more than anyone chooses to admit.
Before gum was a treat, candy's cousin, it was care. 10,000 years ago, human beings chewed birch bark tar, antiseptic, medicinal, not pleasant, bitter as sin. This wasn't indulgence, this was survival.
Yes, Native Americans were doing that. And actually, after they came along and started, you know, making that more popular, it actually moved to Europe. And it wasn't just indulgence, it was a way to not have tooth decay. Now, chewing gum and chewing in particular regulates the nervous system. It stimulates saliva, reduces stress, and grounds attention. Long before therapy, humans figured out that if my mouth is busy, my panic quiets down.
So, chewing gum is basically a flavor-filled phenomenon that is basically anxiety management with better branding.
Quite so. Fast forward to Mesoamerica. Chicle, the sap that becomes gum, was common, but public chewing of it among the Incas and Aztecs had rules. It was fine for children, it was acceptable for unmarried women. Men could only do it privately or during religious ceremonies, but married women, absolutely not. You could be thrown out of the tribe for doing that.
Because visible ease is threatening, I guess. A person chewing gum looks somehow comfortable. Comfort suggests autonomy.
And autonomy is always made authority itchy.
How do we go from that to the gum that happens in the United States? Modern gum is born out of a failure. Chicle was imported to replace rubber. It failed spectacularly. So Americans did what they Americans do best. They adapted, they chewed it anyway.
This is capitalism's spiritual gift. If it doesn't work as intended, sell it as pleasure.
Well, Dr. Weaver, that's not just gum history. That's the whole daggone economy right there.
Yep.
Here's a little bit of trivia. The man who introduced chicle and gum to the United States was a Mexican leader by the name of Santa Anna, who was very famous in the Mexican War. But World War I, and even more so World War II, turned gum into equipment, not an indulgence, not a replacement for candy, gear.
Chewing gum helped soldiers stay alert, manage fear, and prevent dry mouth during long watches. It kept the body occupied while the mind was overloaded.
Just as well as the rifle steadies the world, gum steadies the soldier.
And when those soldiers came home, they brought the habit with them. Even in Aldous Huxley's Brave New World, there's hormone chewing gum in case people run out of soma and want to calm down. Gum becomes shorthand for confidence, modernity, and American style calm under pressure.
And then, predictably, people panicked. Teachers banned it, churches scolded it, etiquette books lost their minds.
Because gum chewing says, I'm who I am, doggone it, I'm not afraid, and most institutions, I'm sorry to say, thrive on a little fear.
Well, nothing unsettles authority like a teenager chewing gum during a lecture. Like, oh, yeah, yeah, the Republic is crumbling, but I'm fruity today.
Flavors seem to represent different personalities. Mint becomes dominant because it's respectable, it's clean, it's sensible, it's medical. Mint is the suit and tie of gum.
Dr. Deneen, that is a very good way to put that. And cinnamon is the raised eyebrow of gum.
And fruit is rebellion.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, we come to my lost pleasure of my youth, fruit stripe. 5 flavors, bright colors, a zebra mascot who looked like he had opinions, and yes, flavor that on a good day lasted about 12 seconds apiece.
Oh, Dr. Deneen, you always manage to take me back in time and give me a little bit of nostalgia. That's a generous estimate, though.
Those 12 seconds, folks, were perfect. Just like we said about pretzels in our pretzel podcast, gum doesn't try to be what it isn't. Fruit Stripe wasn't trying to be efficient. It wasn't pretending to be medicine. It wasn't pretending to get anyone high. It was honest joy. You chewed it knowing it wouldn't last, and that was the point.
It's the most human gum ever made, particularly according to Dr. Deneen.
Yeah, it's right up there with lime coke in my pantheon. But exactly, it says, nothing lasts, nothing gold can stay, this won't endure. Enjoy it while you can anyway. And now it's gone. Quietly discontinued, even the bubblegum flavor. No parade, no mourning period, just gone.
Yes, and like so many good things, it just went quietly off into that good night.
Fruit Stripe failed modern economics. Short flavor life, high nostalgia, low efficiency.
It didn't optimize, it delighted. And delight is expensive, but maybe that's a good lesson about adulthood that we can't expect things to stay the way they are forever. We have to embrace change and get the positive while we can.
That's right, Dr. Deneen. We really do need to embrace change. It's the only way to help us move forward. And you can't spreadsheet joy.
But you know what? Gum has come full circle today. Gum is back in hospitals, used to aid in digestion, reduce anxiety, restore bodily rhythm after surgery. We're returning to where we started. Chewing is care.
The ancients would nod knowingly.
They'd still complain about gum under the table.
Well, yes, and many people would.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, why does this matter, folks? Because chewing gum is about who gets to be calm, who's allowed to self soothe without permission, who can take a small pleasure without being corrected. Fruit Stripe and other gums like it mattered because it was unapologetically childish, and adulthood needs that, not through regression and infantilization, but temporary distraction.
Yeah, history isn't just laws and wars, it's habits, mouth movements, quiet comforts.
Sometimes history tastes like fruit, lasts 10 seconds, and then just disappears forever.
So tonight, ladies and gentlemen, if you chew gum, chew it proudly. But on behalf of my family, don't stick it under tables, don't put it on benches, dispose of it properly, throw it in the garbage, swallow it if you have to, but don't leave a mess for people who don't like it. And somewhere, somehow, in the bowels of your own heart, if you still have a pack of Fruit Stripe, guard it like a relic, because history doesn't always shout. Sometimes it just chews, brightly, briefly, and then all too soon fades.
Well, this has been Things You Don't Know.
R.I.P. Zebra.
We'll
We'll
just
keep
keep
chewing.
chewing. So long,
Bye
folks.
bye.